very much. I think we won't take any more questions because we're way after 7:30, but I will end with two things. The first is actually one of my favorite jokes, and I was reminded when Carla was talking about the difference between knowledge and wisdom. You may know all this distinction, but I like it very much. Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit, and wisdom is knowing that you don't put it in a fruit salad, which I thought was a marvelous way of defining the difference. However, there'll be one, before you go, please don't go. Orem is just going to make one reference to link up with the mention of the Berlin Declaration, which was mentioned, I think, this morning, which embraces many of the topics that we've all discussed. So, Orem, do you want to make a brief announcement?
Thank you, James. That's the Bonn Declaration, not Berlin.
Sorry, I forgot where I was.
But I just wanted to tie this back briefly to what I said this morning about the idea that there might be some kind of statement, call it a declaration, from this meeting. I think it's very clear that societies face and will face very major challenges that will require large-scale changes and sooner than we may think or sooner than we may be ready for. We also, I think, agree that these challenges are, at the end of the day, in some sense, social. They're about people. They're about human behavior or the absence of human behavior. I think we agree whether we calibrate what we know in percentage terms or whatnot, that there are a lot of inadequacies, a lot of limitations regarding the current state of understanding and our current ability to provide wise or other advice regarding these challenges that we face. I actually think that this community is an important community in this respect. This community has evolved into a group that's diverse, yet nonetheless has a very real sense of membership and a common effort. And so when there are situations involving challenge, the need for more understanding, the need for more knowledge, changes in some of the current ways we do business, in order to amplify our voices, rather than just each of us individually saying this, crying in the wilderness in a sense, there is a value, I think, in trying to agree, at least in some general way, on a common statement, a declaration of what we think may make sense in making some incremental improvement with respect to these large issues. And so that is the sort of goal of this process. It may or may not be successful, but we very much welcome and urge people to give us feedback on the existing draft to see if we can then craft something that captures some of the flavor of the urgency and sense of concern and the need to make some changes in the way we do business over the next day to day and a half. And then we have scheduled into the schedule now for the last day of the meeting on Thursday at 11 o'clock here in this room for those who are interested. It's not a mandatory assignment, but that's not mandatory homework, but for those who are interested to come and have a conversation about this issue of whether we might feel comfortable in making some kind of a statement. You will not be asked to sign your life away in any sense, but we'll try to take a sense of the meeting to see whether there's some feeling that we have something to say. And if so, can we agree on the sort of general formulation? So this discussion this afternoon, I think, has been extremely beneficial from that point of view, and I very much thank James for leading us through it. But I welcome our continuing participation in this process and hope that we may have something to say when we leave this meeting. What better community than this community to address these questions?
Thank you very much, Rowan. And if you have enjoyed this plenary session, this is also a publicity announcement. There will be another plenary session tomorrow evening at the same time, 6 o'clock, called Catastrophe Cells. The implication being that journalists, I'm afraid like myself, over-egg science, over-egg climate change stories to be able to get large numbers of readers or to sell newspapers, and that's a real policy dilemma for scientists. So there'll be a lively debate about whether that's the case or not, so please do come at 6 o'clock tomorrow. But before you go, can you just show your appreciation in the usual way for such an eminent group of panelists and a lovely discussion? Thank you very much.